All right. Well, Blake, we appreciate you doing this for us. Our understanding is this is being recorded so that we can then share it with those who weren't able to join us today,
Right.
because we know the content is going to be so phenomenal. Very excited to have you with us, and hope that you have some nuggets of wisdom to share with us today. It's tough that we can't meet in person. We absolutely hate that we're not all in the same room together, but thankful for, like you said, platforms such as Zoom that allow us to meet in 2020 when circumstances become so difficult. So, with that being said, I will turn things over to you and look forward to hearing what you have to say today. Thanks for being with us.
Great. Well, yeah, I nothing beats in person and technology. I'm so grateful for it. I've also, as we've just experienced, struggled with it a little bit too. But in any case, I have a message today that I think is so relevant for the time that we're in. So I'm honored to be invited into the fold here with this group of leaders. And I think a good place to start might actually be a few years back. So there's this moment I want to take you to in my kitchen, and my wife pulled me aside and she said, Blake, can we talk? And I don't know if there's husbands watching now or watching the recording, but usually when your wife says, can we talk? It's not just to tell you how good looking you are, in my experience. But in this instance, I wasn't really sure what she was on about. I thought maybe, my parents were visiting at the time, and sometimes that can create some fun communication opportunities. But she had this look on her face that cued me in that this was something much bigger. And she said, Blake, you're not here. You're not really here. I don't know where you are, but you're not here right now. And I feel alone, and I don't want to be alone. And that shook me, and I instantly knew what she meant. Because I wasn't there mentally. I may have been there physically, but the truth is, I hadn't been fully present at home in a long time. At the time, I was working for this fast growing startup, and it was fun, but it was so encompassing, so busy trying to build this company from the ground up. I was on the sales team, so there was always more to be done. I never felt finished. I was stressed, was anxious. I would bring that home and just be distracted. I would be emotionally a little absent, forgetful. I would wake up in the middle of the night and my brain would try to solve all my problems. It would go through the last day, think about the next day. And to be honest, it was draining. I would wake up then tired after that. And guess what? That led to just an even worse work day, less energy, and I would bring that home with me. It was something I thought maybe was just a season. That's what I was telling myself. I pointed at my boss, he doesn't really get it. I pointed, at teammates that were dropping the ball. But when Elena told me this, when she pulled me aside, I recognized this wasn't just a season. I had made this my lifestyle. And it was hard because I wanted to succeed at work. And maybe you right now, you're like, no, I need to dig into work now more than ever. And yet at the same time, I also wanted to fulfill my responsibilities and my connection points and my most important relationships and be a good husband and take care of my health. And this talk, is hopefully you can see on my screen here, is called The Double Win. And I didn't think that was possible at all. For me, I felt like I had to choose. And maybe you feel like you've got to choose. Either you win at work or you succeed at life. You can't have both, right? And if you're faced with that choice, you're probably doing one of two things. Either you're trying to hustle, right? Hustle harder, just get more done, go faster, or you're cutting back, right? Now they both have consequences, right? You're either just grinding if you're hustling, or if you cut back, well, you end up feeling like you have wasted potential, right? Because you may be a great family man, but boy, you wondered, what could I have become? What could I have achieved? What could our financial world look like had I achieved some career goals? Well, Every day at Michael Hyatt and Company, we serve leaders like you who are faced with this choice, but like me, they don't want to choose, right? Like me, there are people that are wondering, what if I didn't have to choose? What if there was a third way? That third way is what we're obsessed with. That's what our whole mission as a company is about, is finding out how can we achieve the double win. That's what we call it, the double win, where our work and our home life aren't competitive. They're actually symbiotic, meaning they feed off of one another. When you get the double win, your work gives you confidence, joy. It gives you the financial resources that you need to support your family and to enjoy the life that you want. But your health and your happy home life provides you with a clear mind, a greater creativity, a rested body to bring to work. That's the double win. And it's not a myth. And it may actually feel so impossible right now. I mean, we're experiencing a pandemic now. I know some of you listening are like, boy, I'd love to even have a single win right now. My kids have been home for 3 months and I'm just pulling my hair out, and work is hard, or our industry is in shambles. But we've made it our mission to develop and teach a system to help you win at work and succeed at life. We believe that you deserve to have both, to not have to choose. It's possible, but you need a new approach. And especially this year, we need a new approach. Even if the rest of your industry, if the rest of your city, the other business leaders that you're serving, they may be confused and scared. But I can tell you from experience with clients that we work with, even though the rest of their competitors, they may be totally afraid and unsure what to do, our clients are still experiencing the double win. And it's not by accident. It's not because they got lucky. It's not because they got a good break or a government bailout. It's by design. Now that design, that system, that is the meat of this talk today. That's what I wanted to share with you today. It's simply a 4-step system. Now, normally we would work with a client for over a year sometimes going through this whole system. Today, I'm going to compress it down into 30 solid minutes for you. How does that sound? Right? So it's going to be a lot. It's going to be dense, but I promise there's no theory, or I should say, it's not just theory. I'm going to give you some practical tools you can start using this week to begin to get the double win. Okay, so let's dive in. The first thing that you may be tempted to do, especially in this chaotic season we're in, is to solve your problems with hustle. In fact, maybe you're watching this recording and it's midnight because you've been going all day long. You couldn't make the call because you're just trying to hustle and to make things happen. Well, you won't change the trajectory of your work or your life by running harder or faster. The first thing you need to do is actually to pause. Specifically, you must pause to plan. That's step 1, plan. If you don't design the future you want, you will inevitably drift to a destination that you never would have chosen for yourself. You need to have a clear plan. Really, now more than ever, it's time to pause and create a plan. You need something that can account for everything your organization's going through right now in this pandemic. I'm curious, and I know we're on Zoom, so I won't get to see a show of hands, but I wonder if any of you can remember New Year's this past year. Did you set any resolutions? Did you set any goals for your team? And what happened to those in March? Right? Did any of those get blown up? There's this joke on social media that 2020 is canceled, right? Let's cancel 2020. Well, I'm here to tell you 2020 is not canceled, and your goals don't have to be canceled either, but they probably need to be reconceived. Michael Hyatt, my boss, and really the author of this system, says it like this: A goal well conceived is a goal half achieved. In other words, how you state your goals really matters. So it's time, if you have existing goals, to edit those goals, to probably rewrite those, or to outright create new ones, but do so smarter. Maybe you've heard of the SMART framework for setting goals. That was actually from the 80s. GE pioneered that idea. We've actually modified it based on the latest research today on goal achievement, and we call it appropriately SMARTER. So normally I could do a whole talk on this framework. I'm going to give it to you here in just a couple minutes. So the SMARTER framework, this is how you want to conceive, to state your goals, be it personal or professional or for your team. S stands for specific. Your goal must be specific. The M stands for measurable, meaning put a number on it, right? You need to make sure that you can clearly measure, did we hit it, did we not? Some of us are setting goals we literally can't achieve because there's no measurements for success. A stands for actionable, right? You need to actually be able to do the goal. So you don't want to simply be more profitable or be more conscious of health or something like that. You need to do. Make sure that there's an action verb in your goal, right? We are going to create a customer service plan, right? Make it actionable. R stands for risky. Now, some of you have maybe heard the SMART framework. You thought your goal needs to be realistic. Well, the latest research suggests that actually if your goal stretches you, if you think, boy, I don't know if we can hit this, that's great because it will require all of your focus and your team's focus. It'll pull the best out of you, make your goal risky. T stands for time keyed, right? So time keyed means essentially, does it have a deadline? If it's just a generic statement of something you want to do with no deadline, it's basically a nice sounding wish. And as soon as there's resistance, it will get put off. So make it time keyed. E stands for exciting. Exciting. Have you considered this, especially with your team? Does this goal engage our hearts? Is your financial goal, is it simply just, well, I'll have an incremental growth or something like that? Make sure your goal is exciting. Write it in a way that captures your heart, that gets you jazzed. Because if you're excited, the research has proven this, and it's not surprising, but when we are excited about our goal, we are far more likely to actually achieve it. And finally, the last R stands for relevant. This is huge right now. Some goals that you set in January are no longer relevant. Have you circled back with your team and gone, you know what? This goal made a lot of sense when we could meet in person, but right now we can't. So therefore, how do we need to adjust it? Make sure that it's relevant to the season that you're in. So SMARTER goals, this is a tool you can take and use to reframe your goals and make them far more achievable for your team. But it's also going to require something else. You also need commitment. I've talked to so many business leaders, probably hundreds of business leaders in the past 3 months since this pandemic started. And what we know is that we're essentially either operating from commitment or convenience in anything we do in life. But I've noticed as I've been talking with these business leaders, their response to this uncertain season that we're in, they typically fall in two camps. First camp is, I feel afraid, and therefore I'm going to hunker down and wait for the future to happen. I'm going to wait for this to blow over. We're going to just freeze our resources. We're going to pause. We're going to wait. And then we're just going to, hopefully this blows past fast and we end up okay. The second camp, they're still afraid. There's still some fear there. I don't know what this is going to do, right? But they recognize that the only way to become more certain of the future is to create their future. Now, those people realize that that creativity, that's pretty inconvenient. It takes a lot of times some investment, but I can assure you it's far less costly than letting yourself and your organization simply drift to whatever future may come your way. So without commitment, we inevitably will drift. And no one's ever drifted to a destination that they would have chosen for themselves. So once you've set your goals, once you can commit or recommit to those goals, you're ready to move to step 2, which is focus. Focus. I love this step. And the reason is because most of you, maybe all of you watching, you have more tasks than you do time. You have more tasks than you do time. They did a study of 1,000 professionals, and they found that 94% clocked more than 50 hours a week working. Half, 50%, were working more than 60 hours a week, right? And professionals who had a smartphone were oftentimes working more than 70 hours a week. So think about that, right? And maybe that's only increased now because maybe you used to go to your office and then you'd go home. Well, now maybe everything is your office and everything is your home. And so you're always on and you're always trying to fit in some more tasks. You put the kids to bed, you go back to work, right? Maybe you're trying to figure out, how can I get more things done? I'm here to tell you, you're thinking about it wrong. Ask a better question. Not how do I get more done, but rather, what is the best possible use of my time? What is the best possible use of my time? With that lens, different daily priorities naturally emerge. You can do anything you want, but you can't do everything you want. David Allen said that, and I love that quote. So at Michael Hyatt and Company, here's what we teach. Here's a starting point to find your focus, is to put your focus where you have both passion and proficiency. Passion and proficiency, where those two meet is where you'll have your greatest impact. So this has been a revolutionary idea and a process for one of our clients. Her name's Olivia. And I want to tell you about her because she's actually in the luxury travel business. Can you imagine what that's like right now? The travel industry, I mean, has there been an industry that's been more affected by what we're going through than that industry? You can imagine how scary it must have been for her in March. But using the tool that I'm about to share with you, she found a way forward. The path was made more clear to her. By focusing on where she was most passionate and most proficient, she actually discovered a pivot point that was that enabled her to create this wave of client attraction on social media. It drew so much attention that she got calls, big partnership deal calls from major airlines who are just, the major airlines are looking for leaders, right? They're looking for leadership in a time of crisis. Your industry is looking for leadership in a time of crisis. What the difference is will you know where to put your focus? That's the power of knowing where you're passionate and where you're proficient. So let's define the terms. Passion, this is what you love to do, what brings you energy. The hours fly by when you're doing it. Proficiency, these are the things that you're really good at doing, and also what drives the results that you're responsible for. So this comes to life in a tool that we teach our clients. Now, I don't have time to go over every aspect of this, but I want to give you some key points. We call this tool the Freedom Compass. The Freedom Compass. So we developed this to help leaders like yourself focus on their highest leverage work. So at your intersection of passion and proficiency, we call that the desire zone. Think about that. And you may want to just right now jot down a few things. Where do my passion and my proficiency align? What are those activities? Opposite of that is the drudgery zone. This is where you're not proficient at it and you don't like to do it. You're not passionate about it either. You're likely spending way too much time in your drudgery zone. Maybe write down some things you're doing right now that fall in that zone. The truth is, if you're a leader of an organization, your goal should be at least 80% of your time is in your desire zone. So once you know where to focus, it's time to move to step 3, which is execute. In order to get the double win, you can't simply know what tasks matter. Now you know what matters, where you need to spend your time. You actually got to get those things done, right? It's all theory until the rubber meets the road, right? Well, why is execution so hard? Is it hard for you right now? I think it's hard for most of us because we don't have a system that connects our big goals to our daily actions. And when we don't have that bridge built, we will get carried away in the rush of the river of busy work, of everyday tasks, of interruptions, of the urgent, right? So we developed what we call a 3x3 achievement system, and I want to teach it to you today. Again, the Reader's Digest version of this system. But it's very simple, so I think you'll be able to get it. In fact, it's so simple that this is probably one of the things we get the most feedback on from our clients, because not only does it change their life, it changes their organization. And I think about Bill Prettyman. Bill joined us. He had been actually in a coaching program, a different one, for about 10 years. He never grew his business by more than 2%. Now he's in the printing business, which was actually in decline, but he was able to kind of hold his own and remain steady. Well, when he started applying this system, and he listened to a talk like this, he decided, hey, I want to join their coaching program. And we taught him this system. He said, Blake, it is crazy. The stuff that used to take us 3 weeks now would take us 1 week. It seemed like we were so much more aligned, so much more efficient. And as a result, we doubled our profitability the first year of employing this. And our business grew 20% from 2% the previous year. And that was a $7 million revenue jump for his company. They're actually on pace now to do 40% growth, which is wild. So here's how the system works. Here's how this 3x3 achievement system works. The first aspect is setting 3 goals per quarter. I taught you how to set a smarter goal. The next step is to narrow that down to 3 key goals that you're going to focus on for the quarter, no more. Next, you want to identify each week 3 big objectives. So this should be influenced by the most important projects happening in your life, but also by your big quarterly goals. That should be guiding your weekly big 3 objectives. We suggest, you know what, don't set more objectives than that. You'll just get tangled up. But these things should be both the urgent and important things. And those weekly big 3 objectives guide you to set 3 big daily tasks. We call it the daily big 3 tasks. So yes, I'm saying you should have 3 tasks each day. Now, some of you might be thinking, you're crazy. How could I only have 3 tasks? You got to be kidding me. But again, I want to challenge that thinking. See, leadership, it's not about getting more things done. It's actually about getting the right things done. The right things done. The research shows us that on average, most people start the day with 15 tasks on their list. So as a result, they start the day, they're already overwhelmed because not only do they have 15 tasks, they maybe have 15 other meetings, right? So they start the day overwhelmed, like, how am I going to get this done? And then they end the day defeated, right? Because guess what? They never had a chance to win that game. So we need to change the game. We need to set up a game you can actually win. So let's consider the Pareto principle. Have you heard of this? Pareto, he's the Italian economist who created the 80-20 rule. Maybe you've heard of it called that. It essentially means that 20% of the effort is going to drive 80% of the results. So let's apply that principle to task management. So we know the average person, they're going to have 15 tasks that maybe they're considering for their daily list. But we also know that not every task is created equal. Again, 20% of the effort is going to drive 80% of the results. So as a leader, it would be smart for you to know, what is the 20%? If we reduce that down 20%, that's where we get daily big 3. What are the 3 most important things for you today? That's how you achieve more by doing less, by focusing on the 3 highest leverage tasks every day. So again, a review of this 3x3. You're going to identify 3 quarterly goals that you'll focus on, distill those into 3 weekly objectives each week, and then let those objectives be your guide each day as you consider, what are my 3 highest leverage tasks today? So don't be deceived by the simplicity here. This will have a massive impact on your personal productivity, but it's so helpful right now, especially if your team's working remotely. You need to apply this system to your team, because otherwise people will just feel frantic, right? They're working on something, their kids, coming in, they're interrupting. They may not know how to approach this. This is a great tool, a simple tool that any team can adopt to achieve more in less time. Okay, so you've established a rhythm of execution. You're ready for the 4th step of the system, which is scale. This is where it all comes together. To scale your business, though, you've got to scale yourself. So if you can't scale yourself, you'll never grow beyond your personal capacity. So there's actually 2 aspects to this that I want to talk about, growing your personal capacity. The first component is to leverage the talents of a team. So Michael said it this way. He says, if your dream doesn't require a team, your dream isn't big enough. If your business can't run without you, I've got news for you. You actually don't have a business. You just have a job. And it's a pretty demanding job. Your boss is pretty demanding, I bet. Your boss will wake you up at 3 a.m. at this job and go, hey, you need to think about this problem, right? The only way for you to survive and for your business to thrive is for you to scale yourself by learning to delegate. Now, some of you hear the word delegate and you get a pit in your stomach, right? Because maybe you haven't had a great experience with delegation. Leaders typically are making one of 3 mistakes when it comes to delegation. But those mistakes really have a huge cost. So I want to identify those mistakes right now for you. See if you're making any of these right now. The first mistake is they hesitate. They hesitate. It sounds like this. It takes way too long to explain this. I may as well do it myself. It's going to cost some money to have someone do this. I might as well do it myself. If you're asking questions and it always ends with, I might as well do it myself, that's the hesitation mistake. You're hesitating. And believe it or not, it really is costing you. The other mistake leaders make is they abdicate. So that looks like, you bring someone on, hey, get this done for me. And then there's no check-in. They didn't cast vision. They didn't give any rationale, no clear plan. And what happens? Stuff falls apart. And they say, you see, delegation doesn't work. This is so annoying. Or, you know what, this hire was a mistake. This person isn't talented or skilled. But the reality is something was missing from your leadership. You were simply abdicating more than you were truly delegating. The third mistake, suffocate. This is kind of the opposite of abdicating, right? Suffocating means you're micromanaging. You're looking over the shoulder. You're like, oh, not like that, like this. You're in the weeds and the details. Suffocating is way worse, maybe the worst mistake for 2 reasons. One, because it's still going to take you a long time as if you were doing it yourself, because now you're not free to work in your desire zone. You're just working on the person that you wanted to delegate to, right? It's going to take a lot more time to micromanage. 2, you are going to suck the life out of your people, whoever you're delegating to. They will not be inspired. They'll be like, well, who I am and my skills, they don't really matter. I'm just suffocated by my boss. So don't make that mistake either. Which one of those are you prone to, would you say? You can think about that now, maybe circle it. What I want you to walk away with, though, is to know that effective delegation is critical to double one's success. It allows you to actually unplug from your business at a regular basis And that being able to unplug, it's not just, you don't want to do that just because it's fun. It's actually a huge sign of health of a business. A healthy business allows the leader to really unplug from time to time. Is that the freedom that you're looking for, to really unplug? When was the last time you did unplug? You took a vacation and you didn't have to bring the laptop. That's what I'm talking about. So you must leverage the talents of a team to scale yourself. The second component is you must level up your leadership. Maybe some of you have heard of, John Maxwell calls it the law of the lid, right? Like the organization isn't going to grow past where you grow personally. So if you want to scale your business, guess what? You have to grow. You have to improve. The leader that you are today won't be able to take your organization to where it really should be in 5 years. You've got to continue to develop and grow. So some of you, hopefully you got an email that had an assessment. We call it the business health assessment. And it's designed to simply give you an honest picture of where your business is right now. And that should illuminate for you, okay, where do I need to level up my leadership? Well, the difference, as I've mentioned before, between successful leaders that achieve a double win and everyone else, some will drift and others will develop themselves by design. So what I want to talk about is, what is the safest, least expensive way to design the future you want, right? If design is so important, how do I do so safely with less risk, and have it be, the least expensive possible? Well, the way to do that is simply to connect with the right coach. A business coach gives you an edge against the drift. It fills in the gaps of your knowledge and experience. A good coach will provide regular opportunities for you to work on your business and not just in your business. So a good business coach will help you go further, faster, and with significantly less risk. Now, I asked Michael this one time. I said, why is a coach so valuable? And he's like, well, the fastest way to grow and develop a business is simply to learn by mistakes. But you get to choose whose mistakes you learn from, right? You can choose to make your own mistakes, and that will cost you a lot, or you can just spend some money usually and learn from somebody else's mistakes. That's a lot less costly, because a good coach will help you make up that money in a hurry, but you can't get back the time. So we have our own coaching program at Michael Hyatt & Company, but the truth is, there's a lot of great programs. The important thing I want you to learn is, if you don't already have a coach, especially right now, you deserve to have a coach. It may feel like the last thing you should spend money on, but trust me, your confidence and competence as a leader is more important now than ever before. So I actually want to give you, I think before I give you this criteria, I'm going to give you some criteria for a coach in a second, but I'm remembering I just, a couple days ago, had a call with Stormy, who's one of our clients. And she's someone whose business was really growing, but she reached out to us after she had this experience with one of her kids. And it was, one of her little boys had a tummy ache at night and was crying and actually asked for the nanny. Now, I've got a child of my own, and I can't share that without kind of getting choked up, because the truth is the little boy had actually had more life experience with the nanny, because Stormy was really busy building her business. And she's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I've got to realign this. And I got off the phone with her a couple days ago, and this has been a couple of years she's been with us. And it's radical. One, I mean, she was with her family at the time. Even in the midst of this season, they are actually taking, I think it was 2 weeks, unplugged in Florida. They do this every quarter where they go these big fishing trips with her family. She picks up her kids every day from school, but her business has still just been growing at a crazy fast clip. And she's like, I never would have been able to do this and without a coach. Like, the coach has been so, so helpful to me. And that's what I want for you, if you're watching this, is that you're not designed to go it alone. And it's pretty dangerous to do so right now. But with the right coach, not only can you survive, but you can actually have the personal life you want to have as well. You can have the double win. So whether, it's with us, or maybe you have another coach you'd be considering, or discover another program, I want you to look for a few criteria. The first is, do they have the right experience? Unfortunately, the dirty secret of the business coaching world is a lot of coaches have never run a business, right? Make sure your coach has run a business, has had success, right? Do they get the right results? In other words, have they had the right experience themselves and gotten results? And also, do their clients get the results that you're looking for? And finally, do they offer the right format? Most people think that one-on-one coaching is the best. We actually have seen a huge level of growth from group coaching. In fact, most people grow faster with a group than they do an individual. It's kind of a little known fact. We offer a mix of both, but you want to look for a coach that can offer the right format. So if you don't already have a coach, or you don't know where to start, I do want to just mention what we do. Our coaching program is called Business Accelerator. We use a pretty unique approach to coaching. It's this threefold approach. I don't have time to share those details here. But, the important thing to us is results, specifically double win results. Our average client in their first year will grow their business 67%. But that's honestly not what we're most passionate about. What we're passionate about is these other wins, where they're actually working 11 hours less on average per week, taking about 60% more unplugged vacation time. Folks like Stormy able to actually have hobbies outside of work. And, perhaps most importantly, in seasons like this, they have confidence to lead their team in this season. So if you do want to learn more about Business Accelerator, I won't spend too much more time on that, but you can actually schedule what we call a discovery call. It's not a hard sell. It's simply, hey, I want to learn more. I want to see if this is the right fit for me. You just go to businessaccelerator.com/discovery. And on that call, we'll also go through your business health assessment. So give you some feedback on where you need to highlight, where you could spend time on, help you make sense of it, perhaps set some goals for this next quarter for you. So if you haven't already, I believe at that link, once you schedule your call, you'll be prompted to take that assessment if you haven't already. So again, that link, if you want to learn more about it, is businessaccelerator.com/discovery. Okay. So I think I've made it through, right? That's all I have to share about Business Accelerator. And I want to review real quickly the 4-step system. Okay. So the 4-step system again is plan, focus, execute, and scale. Plan, focus, execute, and scale. It's very simple, perhaps deceptively so, but it is extremely powerful. And I want to just end our time here by asking you to just take a breath for a moment and imagine with me. If you're alone, maybe you could close your eyes, because that helps my own imagination. But I want you to imagine yourself, let's say a year or 18 months from today. Maybe it's New Year's 2021, and you are, looking back at 2021, the last 18 months, and you're reflecting. Imagine that your business grew exponentially against all odds through an unprecedented crisis. But imagine that you worked less than you ever had. Imagine that you were able to take time off from your business. You were able to totally unplug. You didn't bring your laptop, and nothing fell through the cracks. Imagine that you are really winning at work and succeeding at life, that your team is excited. You attract A-level people to your organization because they love your leadership. And more than that, your family is looking up to you as well. If you have a family, they're excited. They know you. You know them. You're living a life of connection with them. And remember, you aren't going to drift to that reality. That New Year's, if you're enjoying a glass of champagne on that New Year's, you won't simply drift there. You do have to design it. And I want to encourage you today as I close, that today is a day you can change the trajectory of your future. Don't hit the snooze button on it. It's time to wake up and get started and be brave in the midst of a crisis season that we're in right now. Thank you, everyone. That's all I have for you today. I really appreciate your time. And thank you for as well. I was a little late getting the internet, so thank you for spending some time with me today. I've been instructed to let you know that this is kind of the end of the meeting here, so I'll sign off. Thanks if you're watching the recording as well. But again, if you'd like to be in touch with me or one of our consultants, you can simply go to businessaccelerator.com/discovery. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.